one of those big Pope robes or something. Just, put it over your head, get a little flashlight like you're doing a little sleepover, a little blanket for it. That'd be. Why can't we negotiate all of our treaties in a blanket for it? I think that might make things a lot better.
That works for me. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us at Washington to Westminster, a political podcast that looks at two countries that have a king. Oh, sorry, no, I'm looking at American 2029. I beg your pardon. My name's Matt Johnson. I host a show called The Interesting Times, which looks at the UK side of things. And joining me this week, and indeed every week since we started, I'm delighted to say it's Andrea Bridges-Smith of the Phoenix News Network. Andrea, hello.
Hello, Matt. I unfortunately have been ill the past few days with a condition called Canadian envy. And it is where you have a hacking cough, but also a huge jealousy for a country that has a sane leader in charge. It's a condition that is very similar to acute Mexican envy syndrome, or AMES for short.
Right. I got to say, that sounds nasty. I can still hear in your throat a little bit there. Mm-hmm. I believe the cure is to head north or south for about 3 and a bit years, right? So yes, congratulations, Canada, on electing Mark Carney, who I believe ran on a ticket of screw Trump, and not in a good way. I have been to both Canada and the US on a couple of occasions, and what can I say? I loved it. Obviously, that was for the America, that was pre-Trump era.
Yes, I have also been to Canada a couple of times, and I got to tell you, going from a boiling hot Texas summer to a Montreal summer in August, which is basically the same thing as our winter. It is absolute heaven. I would love to go back, but I don't know if they're going to continue to allow us into the country after all the shenanigans from Trump.
Yeah, surely it's more a case of if the US will let you out, isn't it? I got to say, I love that idea of the Montreal summer. I can smell those pines already.
Yes,
wonderful.
yes.
Yeah.
It's nice. It's very French.
Yeah, beautiful. It'll be interesting to see who Mark Carney, as the newly elected Prime Minister, decides to speak to first. In times gone by, I imagine it would have always been like the American president, right? That's the sort of number one sort of meeting point. They share the largest land border in the world. Did you know, Andrea, as well, I suspect you did, that Canada also shares another, obviously, smaller border with Greenland?
Yes, I think when you put the two of them together, they're like an extra tall pile of icing on America's cupcake. And I think that might be why Trump wants them so badly.
Ah, right, fair enough. Maybe just then remind him that salads are also green, and he might not want it after all.
There you go.
What is also interesting is that we have got our own elections for some of us over here in the UK. Now, the last time these areas had elections was 2021, when Boris Johnson was Prime Minister. Has it really only been 4 years?
I think these days we can safely say that 4 years is actually more like 12 years. I think it has something to do with the Celsius conversion. I'm not totally sure about that, though.
Yes. There's plenty of that going on. Now, the Tories did very well in the last one. In fact, they are defending 1,162 seats, to be precise, more than all the other parties combined. And now, as we know, since then, the people aren't so fond of them. Obviously, that's gone downhill. End of Boris, Liz Truss even more so, and Rishi Sunak really hit rock bottom. So they are going to lose a lot of seats. Now, that's the good news.
All right. Well, we got to take the good news where we can get it. I love some good news.
Right. So the bad news is that the main beneficiary from all this is likely to be Nigel Farage and the Reform Party. A case of out the frying pan into the liar.
I mean, really, on both sides of the ocean, we have got to get some better options, don't we?
Yeah, we really, really do. I mean, Labour are only defending approximately 350 seats and only one councillor. They're also defending 3 mayoral positions as well. Was it 6? I can't remember now. Anyway, so it might be bad for Starmer, but it's unlikely to be headline-grabbing bad.
Okay.
No, the headline-grabbing bad could come from the fact that, as we mentioned before, Andrea, we've got a by-election too on the same day.
I mean, again, I never dreamed I would be so excited about British by-elections. You've really inspired a lot of excitement in me around those.
There we go. It sounds quintessentially British as well, doesn't it? A by-election.
Yes, a ta-ta election would be even more so. But
Well, here's the thing. I would say it's too close to call on this one. I just think there are too many variables. Mike Ainsbury, who's the guy who won it, well, obviously last year, he had a majority of nearly 15,000, which is a
Wow.
big majority over here.
Yeah.
And he is or was seen as a good MP, including, remarkably, by the guy that he punched in the face repeatedly.
Okay. I'm going to need you to take several steps back and tell me that story.
Okay, no, I mean, seriously, listening now, the guy didn't say it. But yes, Mike on a night out was stopped by this person and I guess felt threatened or something and haven't completely caught up in it. And basically, he hit him, Mike, that is, the MP hit him, knocked him down, and hit him again. He
Wow.
had the whip suspended that weekend. I think he did it on the Friday, had the whip suspended certainly by the Monday, probably on the Sunday, and then resigned his seat. It then went to court, and I'll be honest, how he avoided a prison sentence is beyond me. Anyway, against that, on this by-election, you have the fact that Reform are doing rather well in the polls. They're in fact leading the polls in some of them. And that, in fact, in July last year, the right-wing vote was split between Reform and the Tories. That's not going to happen this year.
Yeah.
And the fact that a low turnout will definitely help Reform. By-elections, I think like your midterm elections tend to have lower turnouts than the general elections.
Right.
So, yeah, Reform might just sneak it. However, if Labour can hold on to that seat, I think they will consider it to have been a good night.
Okay, well, do keep us posted on what happens. I'm on pins and needles over here. For anyone who needs election updates, check out Matt's channel, The Interesting Times. Handle is right down there at the bottom of the screen. That's where I'll be getting my coverage. It was either that or GB News, and I'd rather not put my own eye out. So.
Right. So, the interesting connection between the Canadian and the UK elections is a large, and I mean large, shadow cast by your president.
Yeah, that fucker is absolutely everywhere, isn't he?
Yeah, I believe the term is omnipoisonous, right?
Yes.
Now, see, while Mark Carney's anti-Trump message certainly resonated with voters, it seems Trump endorsing his rival, Pierre Poilievre, the most French-Canadian name I can think of, by the way, it seems to have been the kiss of death, which I understand is what J.D. Vance gave the Pope the other week. Oh,
You know, Matt, we actually have an alternative theory about what happened to the Pope. It involves a lot of spaghetti, so check out our last episode from Friday. For
yes,
that.
I've seen it. I've seen it. Crazy.
Yes.
And any
But
one of those series, I'm sure MAGA are already tapping into already.
yes, they love a good conspiracy theory, and we're here to give the people what they want. But yeah, Trump endorsements seem to be losing their luster a little bit. In fact, I think it would be hilarious if every global election for the next year was basically a question of yes or no. Would you tell Trump to fuck off? And everyone who said yes ends up getting elected.
Yeah, I see it. A few people have made the connection between the Love Actually scene. You know,
Yes, exactly.
I've not seen the film, I'll be honest, but you know that bit and the bit where the chap's out the back holding up the cars or whatever, that's bits I remember from it. So anyway, it's quite funny because after this endowment, Polio basically went onto Twitter to say, "Shut up, stop endorsing me." For goodness sake, he's now lost his seat. And now Trump is apparently bragging about it. You see that guy I said people should vote for? They didn't vote for him. I did that. Me. They lost the election because of me.
Always a good day when your Trump impression shows up. You know, I do believe Trump in this case. It's not often that I believe the things that he says, but in this case, I do believe him. His ability to turn winners into losers, he's quite adept at that. You should see what he can do with the casino.
Yeah, that's true, isn't it? Yeah. Everything he touched, he's the opposite of the Midas touch. Everything he touched turns to shit.
Yes, yes.
So anyway, Andrea, the reason I mentioned this whole thing in a roundabout, sorry, for our Canadian viewers, that is roundabout sort of way, is Trump is toxic over here too. He's international toxic.
It's very fancy. He's actually starting to turn domestic toxic too, but more on that in a minute.
Oh, interesting. Right. So Nigel Farage, so often his bestest bud, right, and photo op guy, they're forever together. He's there with a MAGA hat on and stuff. Has
Right.
gone remarkably quiet on his Trump relationship. No photos, no fundraising. I went on his Twitter page. You see the things I do for you, YouTube. I went on his Twitter page, and the last thing I can find Trump related is in January. I think he's realised that particular gravy train has dried up.
Yeah, people over here have started to have the same revelations as old Nigel, and I can only foresee that that is probably going to get worse over the next month or so. If there is any good news in the world at all right now, it is that Trump's approval ratings are absolutely in the toilet, or in your parlance, flush down the loo.
Oh,
Pretty
is it a golden toilet?
Yes, but if you scrape the toilet just a little bit, the gold flakes off very easily, so maybe don't. Now, pretty much every poll right now has Trump at the lowest approval rating in like half a century. Like some of them go back to like, 1940, I think. So I'm not surprised that Farage isn't exactly ringing his phone off the hook.
Yeah, I mean, reality certainly catches up with you quick when you can't afford food, doesn't it?
Yes, yes, exactly. So the reason for these low poll numbers is basically down to two main things. The big one, of course, is the economy. Trump seems to be pissing off the entire globe with his trade war. And now that everyone has seen how easily he will back down, no one is inclined to give him an inch, especially China. They are refusing to be the first one on the phone to negotiate with him. So every time someone from the Trump administration says, "Oh yes, we're talking to China," China goes, "No, they're not. We're not talking to them." It's really really funny. At this point, everyone else in the world seems to be making trade deals without us. China is out there wooing everyone that is not the U.S. I heard they're snuggling up to Brazil, and I heard that even you guys in the EU are cooking up a little trade deal together. Is that right?
Yeah, yeah. It's actually a lot more EU friendly than not EU friendly, but it's a lot closer than I thought that they were going to go for, and it's all been done rather. I say quietly. It's not like they're hiding it or anything, but so many people over here have just realised that obviously that Brexit is a bad idea. That
Yeah.
there's not that much in the way of push back against it, I suppose. But yeah, you could say Brexit is unraveling one step at a time.
Well, good for you. It's about time everybody finally had that realization. So Trump has been warned about the possibility of empty shelves over here. So for anyone who doesn't know, a lot of the stuff sold in the U.S. is made in China, and I mean a lot. And right now, that stuff is not coming here on boats, which means that there is less stuff to unload at the ports, less stuff to drive across the country, less to do at warehouses. All this is going to lead to people getting laid off because there's no work for them to do to move all of these things around. And most importantly, shelves in America are about to get very bare, kind of like back in the COVID days, which we all remember so fondly. And the thing is, even if Trump decided tomorrow to tell China, you know what, just kidding you guys, oh man, you should have seen your faces, I can't believe you fell for that, it would still take time to unwind what he has done here. And people are saying that our economy is about to have the brakes slammed on again, just like back in the COVID days. Only this particular bullet to the dick will be completely self-inflicted. And so, Matt, I know that you like a good wager. You like to bet on things. So, how low do you think Trump can get his approval rating? Right now, there are some polls as low as 39%. Most of them are in the low 40s. When America sees empty shelves again, when we're fighting each other for toilet paper like we did back in 2020, where do you think that approval rating is going to end up?
I, yeah, I mean, I'll be surprised. I'm actually surprised, I beg your pardon, that they're as high as that. Starmer would kill for those ratings. Well, it would be nice to see him hit single digits, like this one.
Yes, yes, exactly. If he gets down to single digits in the approval ratings, I might need a cigarette. I've already got the voice for it. So the other factor here in these low poll numbers is that for a while Trump's immigration policy was pretty popular. People were like, yeah, there's too many people coming in, and we got to like shut the borders. But now his tactics are starting to be seen as needlessly cruel. So Trump's team is making this big show of saying, oh, look how many criminals we're deporting. We're going after criminals and we're cleaning up America. We're getting the criminals out of here. And they've gone so far as to put their mugshots on posters on the White House lawn, which is charming.
Yeah,
They have
classic.
also deported babies receiving cancer treatment. And when you start deporting the cancer babies, people start to go, wait a minute, not the cancer babies.
Yeah, yeah, that's not the American way at all, is it? You've always been a very welcoming, friendly nation, certainly from my personal experience.
Yes, but even now, to cancer babies, apparently we are going to be dicks, and so that is starting to also have a negative effect. So, I have to say, Matt, it's starting to feel like electing a tyrant may have been a dumb move on our part.
Told you shouldn't have voted for him, Andrea, but would you listen to me?
I know I've really got to start listening to you. It's
So,
about time.
I wonder if I could just jump in here.
Hmm.
And I've seen a few things on Twitter, including one tweet by Lindsey Graham talking about Trump wanting to be the next pope. I mean, it's a
Yes.
joke, right? It's nothing to that. It's just a joke.
I
Surely.
do believe he is joking, yes. I think he was just trying to be funny there, trying not to read too much into that. But can you imagine how dickish the Pope would be if it was Donald? I'm sure you can, because you can see how he is as president. But yes, I don't think we need a president slash Pope. It feels like too many jobs. We're starting to get into Elon Musk territory where it's like, you know what? Pick a job and just do that, okay? Just one job at a
Well,
time, please.
but he can't even do that one, can he?
No.
I'm sure you saw the picture, obviously, and he was put in the front row as to do with the American presidents normally get put in the front row of the Pope's funeral,
Yeah.
and he's the only one there wearing this bright blue suit. Everybody
Yes.
else is in black because it's a fucking funeral. Has nobody told them this? It's just like, oh God, who dressed the president? Who dressed him? Come on, guys. Why we tell you these things? We've got to put, everybody else, including, to be fair, Melania. But he's just like, you can just see him sort of, everybody else there doing their looking, condolences. Because they understand as well that Catholics are all over the world. You want to
Right.
play to your own sort of people as well. You want to give respect. But yes, they're all looking down, looking respectful and mournful and stuff. Um, and and he's there in this blue suit just doing,
I,
why is
I, I
there
have to
people on
say,
me? Yeah, sorry.
I know he's taking a lot of heat for this. He did several things during the funeral. In addition to wearing the blue suit, he was also chewing gum. He was looking at stuff on his cell phone. He fell asleep at one point, it appeared. So I don't know. In the grand scheme of things, the sartorial choices are, not as big of a deal as some of the other things. Like, I think we're lucky that he didn't do worse things at the funeral, honestly. I think there was a solid chance he could have knocked over the casket. He could have said, hey, we're going to do a military flyover with like jets over the funeral, like something like that. It's like, we're going to have like a Pope parade. I don't
Shoot a
know.
couple
There's
of
so
guns
many
in the
things.
air.
Yes, there's a lot of way worse things that he could have done than the blue suit. So I'm grateful that all it was the blue suit and some gum chewing and a little nap.
Yeah, yeah. It was quite interesting as well that when Zelensky turned up, obviously he got a big round of applause, which must have annoyed Trump no end,
Yes.
and he gets like people going up to him and then ignoring Trump, which again would have annoyed him. But it's quite funny because I was thinking, I wonder what Zelensky's going to wear, which is a weird way. This is where we are now, isn't it? I'm sitting there going, what the fuck is wrong with me? You know what I mean? I wonder what he's going to wear, and I'm just going to sort of sit there with some sort of, he says, she says sort of moment. But he wore a black suit. It's all black.
Right, right.
So it would have been a nice moment to turn around and shake Trump's hand and go, he got all dressed up.
Right, exactly. I think if he didn't need, missiles and such right now, he might have actually done that. But seems like they're trying to wrap this war up, maybe? Huh? Possibly. I don't know. I saw the two of them talking at the funeral, which seemed like a really. Was that not the weirdest photo ever? Of
Yeah.
just like, here's just two guys in the middle of a big empty room, tiny little chairs, just like, really leaning in to talk to each other. It's like, is there not an office that they could go to somewhere?
Yeah, yeah, it did look a bit sort of for the photographers type thing, wasn't it?
Yes.
Especially
Yes.
when you go to any of these places. Like I've not been to the Vatican, but I would imagine that all these big old cathedrals, basically the large holy places, would be rather echoey. So
Yes.
all these private things were, oh, no, no, no. Tell Putin,
Yes.
Putin, Putin, Putin. It's
Yes,
very hard to
guys.
have a private conversation.
Yeah, if you're going to do a secret conversation at the Pope's funeral, you guys got to check out that confession booth. It's nice and padded,
Yeah.
you got a little sound protection in there. So I'm not a Catholic, Matt's not a Catholic, but from what we know, that would be the go-to spot.
Or at least a blanket over you like this, so you just
Yeah,
peer out every
yeah.
so often.
One of those big Pope robes or something. Just, put it over your head, get a little flashlight like you're doing a little sleepover, a little blanket fort. That'd be. Why can't we negotiate all of our treaties in a blanket fort? I think that might make things a lot better.
That works for me.
All right, guys, that is going to wrap us up for the week, but we will be back next week. Till then, get your by-election results over on Matt's channel. I
This
cannot wait to
Sunday.
find out what happens.
Yep.
The handle is right down there, The Interesting Times. And we will be back on Friday to discuss Trump's first 100 days, and God help us the next 100. Till then, take care.